If you're a creative person, it's likely you want to focus on your craft, whatever it is, instead of worrying about the business side of things. Of course, some people are creative and enjoy the business side of things, but I'm guessing most of you probably don't. So whether you're a photographer, painter, writer, editor, or anything else that may get lumped into the creative field, in this video I'm going to cover some ways you can take your passion to a full-time career. There's a saying that goes, be so good they can't ignore you. And while I like that it encourages you to keep improving upon your craft, I think a lot of people feel like they are pretty good but are still ignored and can't make any money doing what they love. Well, here's what you may not want to hear, but I think it's sound advice. Get any job you can that will cover your expenses and leave you with enough time and energy to spend your nights and weekends working on your craft and getting even better at it. Creative fields can be really competitive, so you have to do everything you can in order to stand out. Last week, I made a video about how much I made at 10 different jobs over the last 15 years, and a lot of them weren't very exciting or what I wanted to be doing at the time. But I think the truth of the matter is I just wasn't good enough to be doing what I wanted to be doing at the time. Even when I thought I was a pretty good photographer or motion graphics artist, when I look back at my work years later, I can see that, well, maybe I was just mildly above average at best. So when it comes to getting better at what you actually love to do, here's what I recommend. First, try setting a challenge for yourself. When I wanted to get better at creating music, I made it a challenge to post one new track to my Instagram stories every day for a month. It didn't matter if anybody even watched my Instagram stories or listened to the tracks, but making it public like that helped keep me accountable to myself. So even when I was exhausted after a day of filming or we had family in town visiting, I was still able to spend 30 to 45 minutes working on a track and getting it uploaded to Instagram to complete my challenge. So as a result, I got better at the software I was using, I got better at making music in general, and I actually had a lot of fun doing it. Even if 90% of what you do during a challenge like this ends up in the trash, it doesn't matter. You may find a few things that you created were actually pretty cool, and at the very least, you've been flexing that creative muscle, building it up even stronger. In my case, a lot of the songs that I created during this challenge ended up on my first release, which actually ended up generating pretty good income. Even when I was working as a video editor, I realized I enjoyed making motion graphics in After Effects more than I enjoyed editing video. So I spent a lot of my weekends going through tutorials and working on little projects for fun so I could learn the software better. And a few years later, when I was building my reel and interviewing for motion graphics positions, I signed up for an online course on motion graphics just so I could take my work to the next level. That course helped a lot, and I got a great job as a motion graphics artist. But I had to deliver groceries for Instacart while working on all of this to pay the bills. So let's say you've got a decent job, maybe not your dream job, maybe you're in marketing when you want to be a graphic designer, I don't know. Assuming you've developed your craft like I just talked about, now it's time to start getting paid for what you like doing. You want to get an idea for what the market is like. How hard is it to make money doing what you enjoy doing? Is it something you really want to pursue, or do you just want to keep it as a hobby? Dipping your toes into this side income is a good way to figure this out. Running with this graphic designer example, there are a lot of ways to start bringing in revenue. One idea would be creating graphic assets that you can sell on sites like Etsy or Creative Market. For example, here's a seller on Etsy selling these Instagram story highlight covers. Just these simple icons that look nice and trendy, and plenty of people who don't have that skill might want to buy. This seller has sold over 3,500 of these at $4 a pop, which is over $14,000 in revenue with just these 20 designs. You could also list on Upwork or Fiverr and start doing freelance work. The point here is to put yourself out there and see if people will pay for your work. The actual amount isn't as important as the experience you'll gain by doing this. For another example, if you're a photographer and you want to become a full-time wedding photographer, look to start second shooting for photographers at weddings. This gives you a ton of experience and you'll get paid doing what you enjoy. Okay, so you developed your craft and you started earning a little bit on the side doing what you love. Well, how do you make the jump to doing it full time? You'll likely want to replace your current income with the work that you're passionate about, or at the very least, cover your basic essentials. It's time to set another goal for yourself and figure out how to bridge this gap. How many weddings would you need to book as a photographer? How many freelance writing gigs do you need? How many Instagram icon things do you need to sell? And then the most important question is, how do you actually make this happen? This is where you want to flesh out your business plan in more depth. I'll go back to the wedding photography example since I'm pretty familiar with it. Let's say you currently make $40,000 pre-tax at your current job and you started shooting weddings on the side for $1,500 a wedding. Simple math would show us that you need to book at least 27 weddings per year in order to match your current income. That's a good amount of weddings and something that would be hard to do your first year doing it. The answer here is you'll likely want to keep your current day job and continue photographing weddings on the side as you start to build that business. As your portfolio grows, ideally your reputation and business will as well. A lot of clients can come from word of mouth and connections you make along the way, so a business like this can actually grow pretty organically. But for the most part, you'll probably need to do some promotion, advertising, or networking. I think this is another area that a lot of creative types cringe at because it feels like selling out or just plain uncomfortable. But here's what a lot of artists need to hear. There's nothing wrong with making money from what you do. It doesn't make it less of an art form or you less of an artist. No one's looking down on Mozart because he did commissioned work. The fact is, if you're talented at something and it's something that people want or the market has a need for, then there should be no problem with you getting paid to do it. So what I would try to do is take all this side income I've generated and put it towards growing my business. If you need to pay for ads in a wedding magazine or on a blog, or you need to travel somewhere to a workshop or build your own body of work on your own dime, these are investments that can prove worthwhile. Maybe you can find a mentor who will do a one-on-one Skype session with you to figure out how to grow your business in your niche. That could be well worth a couple $100s it might cost to do that. Another great way to grow your business is to join the communities where other creatives are, Reddit or other online forums, or even just connecting with people on Instagram. I recommend an approach of looking to help people or providing value in some way, instead of looking for what other people can do for you or just self-promoting. In a non-pandemic world, this could be in-person meetups or events and getting to know people who are already doing what you want to do. And the mindset here should be, how can I provide value to other people? Because chances are, if you've had even mild success in what you do, especially in the creative field, there's probably been a lot of people looking to use you in some way or another. So a few years ago, my wife and I hosted a photography workshop and a guy named Nick signed up for it. And then when we launched a co-working space, he signed up for that. Then when we needed someone to shoot video for us, he was around and he ended up being a really talented videographer. We took him to Hawaii with us on a work trip, and we even did a road trip up the West Coast and hired him for numerous other projects, all because he was there in our community. He didn't approach us asking us for anything. He just offered to help when we needed it. One other thing I'll say about going full-time as a creative is you don't have to start your own business. Lots of companies have creative departments, and if you absolutely hate the idea of handling all the business aspects of being your own freelance creative, well, working 9 to 5 in a creative position at a good company can be really amazing. Having that job security, set hours, a reliable paycheck can be really nice to have. So don't feel like you absolutely have to go out on your own in order to enjoy what you do. Okay, so let's recap. First, develop your craft. This should be ongoing no matter how long you've been at it. You want to adapt with technology and trends so you can maintain long-term success. Spend your nights and weekends learning, practicing, and building that body of work. Second, start charging for your work. Sell paintings, digital assets, design and writing services, t-shirts, whatever. The idea here is to get used to charging for your work, get a sense of the market, and see how far you can take it while keeping it a side hustle. Third, time to go full-time. Figure out what you need to sell or book in order to replace your current income or at least cover your basic needs, and then figure out how to make that happen. Things like workshops, one-on-one mentorships, and advertising all can play a role here in helping you make that a reality. There really is so much to unpack here, but I kind of just wanted to outline my approach to a topic like this. Of course, you can always save up as much as you can, quit your job, and then force yourself to make it happen, but that's a lot riskier and definitely not for everyone. If you have anything you want to add that I left out, leave me a comment below. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button on this video. It'll really help this channel out, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I will see you in the next video.